Meantime, in Ontario, a panel has released its recommendations after months of consultations on the campaign for a minimum wage hike. Labor groups have been pressing for a $14 per hour minimum wage, up from the current rate of $10.25. Veronica Silva reports.
About Senate reform.
The Ontario government hiked minimum wage in the province to $11 an hour, effective June 1, from the current rate of $10.25 per hour. Ontario Premier Kathleen Wynne said the government will also introduce legislation to make future increases more predictable by indexing it to the Consumer Price Index, following recommendations of a wages advisory panel to the Minister of Labor.
This increase reflects the rise in the Consumer Price Index since the last minimum wage increase, which was in 2010. So we've taken the principle that was put forward by the panel, and we have reached back to the last increase in 2010, and that brings us to an $11 an hour wage.
Wynne's announcement came almost a year after workers have started holding mass actions to press the province to hike minimum wage to $14 per hour. As they say, anything below $14 puts Ontario families below the poverty level. Workers' groups in Ontario welcome the move to peg the wages to inflation, but say $11 is not enough.
$11 still puts workers below the poverty line. Unfortunately, it's still not enough to survive in Ontario. We are happy to see that the minimum wage will be indexed to the cost of living. That is an important step forward, but we were hoping to see more in terms of the amount announced today.
Positive step itong recommendation na to na sinasabing itaas yung minimum wage at itali ito sa cost of inflation annually, no? At pero kulang dahil ang talagang kahilingan namin mga advocates ay itaas sa $14 ngayon.
Employers groups, meantime, welcome the transparency and predictability in setting the minimum wage.
I think the important thing is that it's a regularized process. You've taken political decision-making out of it. It's predictable. It's tied to a clear economic indicator like Consumer Price Index, which really takes into account the cost and decrease, the increases in the cost of living or the decreases in the cost of living. So on the whole, the recommendations are fairly sound. They very much mirror what the Ontario Chamber of Commerce said in their report to the panel.
The Wynne government is also proposing a 6-month notice before any wage hike takes effect. Workers' groups say they will continue to call for a $14 minimum wage to help Ontario families rise above the poverty level. There will be more mass actions expected in the following months. Veronica Silva, ABS-CBN News, Toronto.